What could it be? Well, it is round 3. We have the 2022 Brent Hambrick Memorial, sponsored by Discraft and presented by Dairy Queen. I am Raven Klein.
And I'm Holyn Handley. And we are bringing you the FPO lead card action for this final round. Alright, let's take a look at the leaderboard. We've got myself sitting at 3 down, Ashleh Bauman, who came in with a hot 1 over par the previous day, sitting in 2nd place. Yep, there's me.
So happy.
Cheesing away. There, like I said, Ashleh Bauman coming in with a hot 1 over par yesterday, sitting in 2nd place. She's a local from Delaware, Ohio. We've got Frazer back on the lead card, sitting in 3rd place. And rounding out your lead card is Jennings, another Ohio local. Should be a pretty fun round.
Should be.
This is a great card. Alright, hole 1, par 3, 344 feet. Most ladies are going to be taking this higher turnover line, so you want to get something high in the air, moving right quickly. Just past these last few guardian trees that sits nicely by the basket. You'll see a lot of ladies going with that backhand turnover, others going with the spike hyzer forehand, and there will be a few who even decide to lay up because it is a pretty far hole.
That was a great shot.
I was pleasantly surprised with that. That was a little high. Really don't want to get it that high up, but not too bad. Ashley's going to be going just from a standstill. She finds she can control the angle a little bit better from this stance.
She gets such a great glide on the end of the flight there.
Yeah, that was pretty ideal. I mean, it got a little stable on her at the end, but it was a really, really nice line.
Yeah, she'll be behind that patch of trees, but like you said, getting the 3 on this hole is not a bad thing.
Honestly, getting pars on this course in general, you're doing pretty great. As we see, Michelle also fades out a little bit early, but she's down there.
Christine going with the standstill forehand.
Yeah, so she's not trying to get all the way down there. She's just trying to guarantee an easy 3, leaving that nice and wide, not messing with any trees. And it's a pretty routine up and down. She's got about 12 feet left for her par.
Michelle's disc did fade out early, but she pitched up nicely and she'll have not much left for her par.
Oh, and Ashley actually had that framed up beautifully. It was just a little bit low off the cage.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Rude.
A little left side, but really, you know, those only stick maybe about a third of the time, so can't be mad at it. Christine makes good on her par. Michelle taking her time. Make sure you don't miss that first putt of the day. She makes good.
Ashley will follow that up, tapping in her par, and you will complete the card. Not a bad way to start.
Not a bad way to start. Par frame. Alright, hole 2, par 4, 489 feet, downhill. No obstacles in the way. We just got this OB on the left side in that tall grass. And then the right side past that ditch actually plays as a hazard. So you will play it where it lies with a penalty stroke should you land over there. So you want to get nice big distance off of the drive and then have hopefully a routine up and down into the slightly sloped green. Yeah, I put this just a little bit higher than I wanted, but it checks up just in time.
Ideally, taking a shot like Holyn's and going a little bit more to the right. Trying not to mess with the hazard or OB too much.
Yeah.
Ashley's not coming back.
That was good width, but just a little bit too low. This grass is pretty moist. We had rain just before this tournament started, so the grass is basically Velcro, and
Michelle,
she just barely. Yeah, so the OB line's actually on the inside of that. So if you're in the ditch, you are in the hazard.
Dang.
I like this height from Christine. She gets it out over that OB, but gives it enough height so it actually has a chance to come back inbounds. She sacrificed a little bit of distance there, but she will not have to take that penalty stroke.
Going with the higher spike approach, which I actually really like, trying to avoid that skip.
Yeah, it's a really good adjustment given the ground play we have. It's a great shot from Michelle.
It is a slightly further hole, but this is one where you can still save the par, even if you do go into that hazard.
Yeah, really, if you manage to get off the tee clean and keep it in bounds, it really feels like one of the few must-get birdies on this course. And there's Michelle in for the par save. Christine collects a birdie.
Another birdie added to the card by you.
And then Ashley, closest to the pin.
Saving her par.
Yeah, the card playing very clean for the first two holes. Alright, hole 3 is another par 3, 344 feet. We do have an OB line all along the left side. There's no OB on the right side, but it is pretty thick if you manage to go into those trees over here. You want to throw either a wide forehand or a late flipping backhand. It's something that's going to be finishing right and not too deep, as it does slope down into a creek back there.
Yeah, this one is far for players who don't necessarily have a power forehand, but one of your most common errors on the backhand approach is not trusting it wide enough and then turning it over into the tree line.
Yeah, Christine gets good width on this, but it's just a little bit too understable, or maybe a little bit lower than what she was going for. Just didn't have a chance to get a full flight. Ashley looks like she's making that same mistake. She's going to be somewhere in those trees.
Here we go.
Yeah, that looks like great width from Michelle.
Oh, still overturned.
Yeah, she committed to the width really well, but not quite the angle. So Christine going with a patent pending. Finds a little window.
Oh, wow.
That was a great shot. Let's see, Michelle can find a little window for her flick.
She gets out as well.
It looks like it's not too bad in there as long as you get a little distance off the tee with all of our ladies finding little windows up into the green.
Michelle makes good on her par.
As does Ashley. And we didn't see my pitch up, but I'd hit that early tree and dropped and just pitched up for my par. And Christine also making good on the par.
Man, fire up the barbecue. Let's go.
Great Lakes Disc, located in Grand Rapids, Michigan, is a fully stocked retail disc golf store that fulfills all of your disc golf needs. We carry all of the major manufacturers, accessories, and offer player and event sponsorship, along with tournament payout assistance. To learn more about Great Lakes Disc, visit greatlakesdisc.com.
Alrighty, hole 4, par 3, 347 feet. You're basically going to throw the shot you just threw on the previous hole. We've got OB again on the left side and thick woods on the right. You want to get something that's going to flip late. and land just at the top of this terrace here, these steps. There is OB on the right side past the basket where you see that sidewalk if you do manage to airball your putt. I'll just be going back to that same forehand. Although I get it just too flat out of the hand, never had a chance to come back in bounds.
Dang. You whipped that thing.
Yeah, I knew it immediately too.
I saw you turn around on the tee pad.
Sometimes you just know. Christine overturns that into the woods, but she got good distance off of the tee, so she may yet have an opportunity to get up and down.
Ashleh swings this one and gives it really nice height.
This looks perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, that's an amazing shot. That's probably... I would be willing to bet only one of the entire day who was able to execute that shot that well.
Michelle leaves hers really low, and she catches the ground early. Gets a little cut roll, but it leaves her more open to approach the basket.
Yeah, and that was really nice speed control, landing it flat on the upper step, giving yourself a relatively short downhill putt.
It kind of looked like you were running that.
I mean, I am a little crazy, but no, I'm not that crazy.
Christine in the trees doesn't get all the way out. Looks like she caught either branches with the disc or both her hands as well.
Yeah, so she's left with this little patent pending.
This is to save a bogey.
Nice.
All right, makes good on the putt.
That's a scary putt because with these mock baskets, if you miss high, you can potentially skip very far. And like I said, there is OB. Oh, and Ashleh doesn't make good on the birdie putt. Still an incredible drive. Like that low pendulum putt there from Michelle.
Does not work for all putting styles, but...
Yeah, I'm going to take a knee here, try to bring myself more level with the basket. And then Ashleh will tap in her par. Alrighty, hole 5, the other must-get birdie hole, I would say, on this course. Par 3, 321 feet. We finally have a left finishing hole. You're going to pump out a fairway or a mid-range. Just a simple hyzer. Try to keep it close because we do have this elevated pin and there is OB all around.
Ashleh taking the box after her par on the last hole.
Yeah, great height. Gets a little ground action, but she's inside circle 1, putting for birdie. This looks a little low from Michelle.
It's like the most ground action we've seen.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that ended up being just fine. She got about a 20-footer for her birdie.
I like this slightly wider swing. Again, not too much giving from the grass. But inside the circle.
And here's Christine trying to follow those vapor trails. A little short, but everybody's inside of the circle.
Oh, man.
Yeah, she wanted that one. Online, just not quite enough height. Ooh.
Ashleh leaving that left can be I see that as the most common error on elevated baskets. Is that left chain.
I mean, as long as you're grabbing some amount of metal on this one, you'll stay close.
Michelle making good on her birdie.
Let's see if I can follow up, try to erase that bogey from the last hole.
And you can.
And we're in.
Ashleh making good on the par. Keeping her round clean.
Yeah, par 5, even through 5 is a great start out here. And Christine makes good on the par. Actually, I think everyone is even or better.
And she finds a 4-leaf clover.
Wow. Well, I guess that means she's going to shoot hot today, right? If she's finding lucky tokens all over the course. Alrighty, hole 6, par 4, 675 feet. You want to throw a straight shot past these initial trees and then get it moving right. We have an OB cart path on the left side and an OB line on the right. And the fairway is slightly down, it slopes downhill and gets narrower as you approach this basket. And then the green does slope rather steeply behind the basket, so very important to control the speed coming in.
Behind, left, and right.
Michelle, this looks great. Just needs to find the ground before that OB line. And it does. She'll have a little bit of a tricky footing there. It is a little bit sloped. But that was a great shot. Now, yesterday I missed it on the left side. And today I'm playing with the right side. Oh, nah, I did find OB on the right side. This looks good from Ashley. Oh, maybe slightly overturned.
Looks like she stayed.
Yeah, looks like she stayed safe. Christine also gets this turning a little bit. Looks like she might have got, yeah, she got caught up in that mandatory tree.
Overturning that second shot, needs it to fade back in. And it does.
I guess it does. Alright, Michelle going just with a standstill so that she doesn't have to mess with the weird run-up.
Really smart play. With this being a par 4, you don't have to try and get too frisky going for the basket with all that OB.
Yeah, Ashley also electing to go with the standstill. The disc checks up thanks to those rocks. And yeah, I went OB, but I still got the distance I wanted, so I'm attacking the pin here.
Sit.
And yep, I just trickle OB line.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's interesting. This approach probably plays about 60 feet shorter than what you might range it at because of how downhill it is.
Well, Michelle laying hers up, but catching the edge of the hill and rolling down, as does Christine, but they both check up and stay inbound, so they'll have an uphill putt.
And here's Ashley, a little short on her approach, but she'll have a putt. This is to save bogey. Just sneaking it over the rim.
Christine adjusting and finally giving that one enough height, getting her par.
Michelle also in for the par. Ooh. She airballed it and trickled a little bit into that tree, but makes a comeback or no problem.
Not so lucky 4-leaf clover.
Yeah,
she takes her first bogey.
Is that commentator's curse retroactive?
I think so.
I think so. Alright, hole 7, par 4, 605 feet. Again, you're basically throwing the same shot as the last hole. You want to throw something relatively straight that drifts a little bit right. And then for your approach, you have the fairway gets narrower the closer you get to the basket with this OB circle that's about the size of circle 1. So Michelle will take the box, throwing that same red driver she's been throwing all day. A little low out of the hand, but she cut rolls back into the fairway.
Looking like a nice shot from Christine. She gets a good flight out of the disc and she'll be in nice position.
And again, I leave the sidearm just a little bit high, asking for it to check up. And yeah, I got a bit of a flare skip down the hill, so I'll have to scramble for this next shot.
Ashley giving her shot nice height, letting the disc have plenty of time to come out of the flight, and that was basically perfect.
That was pretty perfect. She'll be able to attack the pin if she wants to. And Michelle, this looks like it needs to check up.
Sit down.
Oh,
Wow.
barely. Yeah, I had a nice little window there, so just pitching back to the fairway.
Christine going for the pin.
Giving it a little body English, asking it to turn. And she's in the circle. Oh, this looks a little yanked wide. Ah, but it sneaks through. She'll have a long putt.
Good approach.
Ooh. Yeah, flirting with that OB line, but we're safe. And then Michelle actually in a great spot to pitch up for her par. And she does so perfectly.
Is that? Oh.
That was a good run. Good run, keeps it close to the basket.
It's a good scramble.
In for the par. And Christine in for birdie. It's a great birdie.
Michelle will leave that hole with a par. And Ashley as well.
Next, we've got hole number 8, par 3, 444 feet. We are throwing from out of bounds. You need to get your disc over this little dirt sidewalk onto this island. And then from there, it'll be your favorite approach shot up into this green. It is downhill, but it's a little bit out of reach for this field. So Christine, this looks a little bit low and a little bit turned, but she's in bounds. The common miss here is there is a creek inside of the tree line. So the common mistake is to overturn your disc into that tree line. It looks like
Michelle trying to give all the body English that she could for that one, but unfortunately, she is in the OB.
And this is just a little too high, didn't get it turning enough. Had all the distance to get to the island, but not the right angle. So Ashley gets this turning. Ooh.
It's a lucky kick out of the trees.
Yeah, she was flirting with that creek down there, but she's safe in the fairway. So Michelle and I will both go to the drop zone. By no means an easy shot, because the fairway does kind of tend to narrow as you get closer, but Michelle makes it look easy.
And as do you.
Christine going with the hyzer approach. Really nicely done. She'll have about 15 feet for her par. And Ashley going to the flick. I like that play because she's able to leave it nice and wide over the OB but have it fading back toward the pin.
Christine makes good on her par. Nice high catch by the basket.
Yeah, good job, basket. Ashley in for par.
And after a good approach from the drop zone, Michelle will grab her bogey.
Okay, we are moving into the woods. It is hole 9. It's par 3, although it plays more like a par 4. 408 feet. You want to throw a fairway driver or something that's going to stay on a hyzer angle, pushing up this hill, ideally getting to this flat area, and then you're pitching around these trees into this slightly guarded pin. I don't even think any of the MPO are going to be playing this one for a 2. It just really doesn't shape for a par 3.
No, the par is a birdie. That's how this one feels.
And Christine, I can't tell if that was... I'm going to go by her reaction and say that that was too wide. And Ashley going for that right gap. Hits it, gets a little ground action. She's going to be in a great spot.
Michelle taking the inner line. Just barely.
Yep, that'll work. She's up there. And I left that just a little bit inside, asking for it to sneak through. And yeah, looks like Christine kicked down the hill a ways, and so she's just pitching back up to the fairway. She'll go back to that patent pending stance, trying to just beam something up there. I think if that had been just a few feet higher, she might have actually been able to get a putt.
Your drive not able to get through the trees, and then that looks like it cut rolled.
Yeah, I was trying
edge.
a pretty aggressive line there, and I just threw it way too low. Michelle, oh, she catches the last tree. Otherwise, that would have been likely parked, but she's just outside the circle for her par putt. And Ashley gets caught up in the trees on the left side of the fairway. And I'm over here scrambling again. Just going with a little putter flick. Leave that on this edge of the circle for my bogey putt.
Ooh. Very good.
Yeah, great bid from Ashley, keeping it close. Oh, an absolute robbery. That's one of those 50-50s.
Yeah.
Usually right side chains on a hyzer's pretty good. Not the putt you want for bogey, but we're in.
But we're in. Christine, unfortunately, with a double there.
Ashley will be taking a bogey, although honestly that feels like a par. And Michelle also carding the 4.
That's going to wrap up our front 9. That hole was a little rough for everybody, but you can see Ashley, Michelle keeping it pretty clean. Your card a little more active, but still around the same for this final round.
Yeah, thank you to our Patreon family for your support, and thank you to Crew 42 for coming out and filming the FPO and bringing us this coverage. We'll catch you guys on the back